What's up, fight fans? It's your boy Noah here, coming to you live from the basement once again. And I'm about to give you the top 10 moments in the WWE. This is the Countout, boy. Hey, man, we just going to go ahead and get it started with number 10. Starting off with NXT. The Creed brothers got some creepy ass silence on them. And I don't know who has them on their hit list. But that shit is a little weird. This past Wednesday on NXT, after they beat GYV, a little vignette or a little video aired up on the big Titantron. And you saw this image right here, telling the Creed brothers, if you can't find us, we gonna find your ass. And I think they already did, because I think these were the same assailants that beat their ass like a week ago. So I'm very curious to see who these guys are. It's probably one of the more interesting storylines going on right now in NXT, just because of its mystery. But I'm praying for the Creed brothers, because I really hope they find these dudes, and I hope they whoop their ass, because I love the Creed brothers, and I love the fact that they badass. They bought that life, son. They really bought that life. But next off, we go to number 9. The return of King Woods. We always like the return of a black man, but we love the return of King Woods. He's been out for a couple of months with an injury, and he's finally back. And he couldn't have come back at a more perfect time, because Kofi needs some reinforcements for that Sherlock Holmes trio of Pete Dunne. I'm not calling that motherfucker Butch. Pete Dunne, Sheamus, and Ridge Holland. And, they beat up on my man Kofi last week on SmackDown. And so this week, Xavier Woods got the clearance, and he was like, hey, bro, pull up. I need some help. You know what I'm saying? I'm about that life, but I'm not about to fight these dudes by myself. That's 1v3. That's not, the numbers don't add up. So I just need one. Because, Ridge Holland done already taken Big E out. Big E got a broken neck. So, why not call your other New Day brother? And he came back looking as good as ever. He came back, and he had a match against Ridge Holland, even though Ridge Holland had already prepared himself for Kofi. But he was wrong, because Kofi had a backup plan, and he bought Xavier Woods. And Xavier Woods ended up beating Ridge Holland, and that was that. But number 8, we go to Brock Lesnar wreaking havoc. You know what I'm saying? Brock is Brock. He's always going to find some way to destroy some things. He's just destructive. Like, that's the only way he copes with his anger, is destruction and vandalism. He's a thug. But I like it. That's why I ended up on this list. It started off because Roman comes out every week, and talks he panders to the crowd in whatever city he's in, and he tells them to acknowledge him. And Paul Heyman has some news for him, saying, that Brock was in the building. He didn't know where he was. He just knew that he was in Brooklyn. And lo and behold, he was right, because Brock Lesnar ended up in a garage smashing a truck. Problem is, the reason why this isn't higher on the list is because I think I've seen him smash like 8 cars now in his career. Why can't he smash something else? Like, I don't know. Just think of something else other than cars. It's like cliche at this point. It's repetitive. But he smashed that shit with a pickaxe. And he came out through the crowd with that ugly ass smile. Even though it's ugly, it's very wholesome. It is very wholesome. And I can't be mad at him because he looks like he's having a lot of fun. But he came out through the crowd with his title, jumps over the barricade, grabs a chair as Roman sends security to shield Brock from beating his ass. And Brock does some interesting shit. He Van Damme's a security guard. Roundhouses the motherfucker. Like, this is borderline Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bruce Lee type shit. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen him do this. In all of my years of watching Brock Lesnar, I've never seen him throw a karate kick. That shit looks hilarious. Just look at him. If you are coming back just now to watch wrestling after being gone, like, pause the music for a second, because this is... I mean, picture yourself, right? You ain't been watching wrestling for about, what, 15 years? 16 years. That's about the last time that Brock was there, 17 years. And you tune on your TV and you see Brock Lesnar doing this shit right here. How can you not be entertained by that? Hey, look, I haven't seen Brock Lesnar jump off of anything wrestling related since he almost died in that match with Kurt Angle. You know, the shooting star press. So this was a refreshing sight to see, because you don't ever, it's almost like watching the Big Show do an elbow drop. You don't see that shit. So that is what redeemed the repetitiveness of him, you know, smashing the car windows in. It made for some great TV. But you know, after that, he was just whooping the security guard's ass with the chair. It was great. But we go to number 7. LA Knight is saved by MSK on NXT. NXT had some pretty good moments this week, and this was one of them. MSK saved LA Knight after LA Knight confronted Big Daddy Gunther. I can't call him the other name because T-John don't want me to. Big Daddy Gunther. Because Gunther said, you know, he was tired of being overlooked by guys, you know. He was tired of being overlooked. You know, people were getting opportunities that didn't deserve them. At least that's what he thinks. I think LA Knight is very deserving of an NXT championship contendership. Even though he lost it, I thought he was very deserving. But Walter, you know, didn't see it that way. Walter was like, I should be at the front of the line ahead of all of these unworthy motherfuckers. And he was mad as shit. So after his match this past Wednesday, he went on the mic and was like, y'all gonna stop doing this. Y'all gonna stop overlooking me and giving it to undeserving motherfuckers like LA Knight. And right on cue, as soon as he said his name, LA Knight's music played. LA Knight came out and he was like, you ain't about to put my name in that shit. I deserve that. And he was trying to use his words to challenge Gunther for a match. But Gunther interrupted LA Knight. And LA Knight said, since you don't want me to use my words to issue this match, I'm gonna punch the shit out you. And he decked him with a right. Like, decked his shit. And of course, Imperium acting like little bitches. They can't just let 1v1 go on. You know, it's just like the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's your man's, but if he gonna get an ass whooping, just let him take that ass whooping. And if it gets bad, if it's bad over like the course of 30 seconds, then you jump in. I think Gunther is completely capable of turning the tide in a 1v1 brawl like that. But it didn't happen that way. They just jumped in after 5 seconds. I'm a little hypocritical though, because if T-John or Jamil were getting their ass beat like that, I'd hop in like 5 seconds. Even though I don't have to worry about that, because T-John and Jamil will whoop anybody's ass on the street. But Imperium jumped in, and you know, MSK got their problems with Imperium, and MSK came out and saved the day. And you know, they helped LA Knight clear the ring, which should be a nice little introduction to next week's match. I mean, this is almost 100% like gonna set up a 6-man tag between LA Knight, MSK, and Imperium. But that should be a very good match. Moving on to number 6. We saw a very, very good match against Io, Kaylee Ray, and Dakota Kai, and Wendy Wu. Judy Chu. Wendy Chu. In the finals of the Women's Dusty Cup, we saw a great match, like I said, but it ended with Kaylee Ray dropping Wendy Chu. Sorry, that was an actual accident. Wendy Chu with a KLR bomb and Io's beautiful moonsault that won them the Dusty Women's Tag Team Cup. Afterwards, you see the celebration there. Afterwards, Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose came out and of course has to interrupt everything because she's gotta have her fucking nose in everything. Even though she bad as shit. But she gotta have her nose in everything. And Kaylee Ray was just like, you know what? Instead of cashing in this Dusty Rose Tag Team Classic win on these tag team titles, how about we make that women's NXT championship match at Stand and Deliver a fatal 4-way? I think that's a good idea. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all rather see that or maybe a tag team match between KLR, EO, and Toxic Attraction. But I much rather see the fatal 4-way. I always love a multi-man or multi-woman match. They're always entertaining. And of course, Toxic Attraction had to attack Kaylee Ray and EO because they always got to put their hands on somebody. And Cora Jade, who is the original opponent to Mandy Rose at Stand and Deliver, she came out and saved the day, which could possibly set up another 6-man tag or a 6-woman tag match come next Wednesday. So we'll see. NXT is building up a pretty good little card for Stand and Deliver, if you ask me. But moving on to number 5, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, and the Street Profits attack Riddle after RK Bros match with American Alpha. God damn. The Alpha Academy. Sorry. After a hard-fought match, RK Bro conquered the Alpha Academy. Riddle was attacked by big sweaty man Otis because Otis is just always mad for losing because they always lose. Otis is just always mad, but he should always be mad. You that big, you shouldn't be happy. You should never be happy. So he whooped his ass, or he trucked him, really. And before the damage could get really bad, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford made the save, but they fucking attacked Riddle. And they showed a little bit of aggressiveness that I thought I'd never see out of the two of them. Montez Ford went up to the top rope and, did probably one of the most beautiful frog splashes, in the game. Like, honestly, hit the height that he gets, it's like if he keeps doing that at a consistent rate, and they just keep getting better and better and higher, and he starts to illustrate like more bunnies, more hops, people are gonna start like throwing his name up there for best frog splash with like, I don't know, Eddie, RVD. Seth got a pretty good frog splash. It's a little overused, but back to the subject at hand. Yeah, Montez and Angelo, they showed a little bit of aggressiveness I've never seen before. It'd be a nice little fresh take on their team. I honestly wouldn't be mad if they turn heel. Y'all let me know in the comments, if y'all would be interested in seeing a heel Street Profits team. But if you think about it, going into Mania, if they're gonna fight RK Bro, they kind of have to be the de facto heels. Even if they don't make a full heel turn, they kind of have to be the bad guy when it comes to these things, or when it comes to this match. But you never know. You never know with wrestling, bro. They really could be a great heel team. And we already kind of saw the de facto heel, persona out of them at day one. So we'll see. We will see. But moving on to number 4, and probably one of the more excitable matches on the card. Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. I know Tijon might be watching this right now. And he's I'm gonna keep that comment to myself. But Pat McAfee is starting to get to Austin Theory. And I'm liking it. Because Austin Theory is starting to cross the line. And I think Pat McAfee needs to start retaliating on shit like that. And he is. Because he showed up last Monday on Raw to be a guest commentator. But we all know, when you're a guest commentator for your rival's match, we know you're going to be up to some dirty shit. We know you're going to be up to some slick shit. And what does he do? He is clowning the shit out of Austin Theory. I mean, look at his face. Hold on. Let me look at his face. He's like, you're in pain? Oh, this shit looks like it hurts. And he proceeds to give several one-arm crotch chops. And I mean, like, this is the widest, hippest shit that you can do. Like, I swear he's trying so hard to be like the cool guy in wrestling, but like it's still so very white. I love it. I can't even be mad at the shit. Like, I'm just going to, like, look at that shit. Just imagine that. That's the closest thing y'all going to get to a video. That is really the closest thing y'all going to get to a video. That's if you didn't watch Monday, that's exactly how that shit went. Like, that is perfect. That is a perfect illustration of how that shit went. Like, no lie. But it was enough to cause a distraction for Austin Theory, and Finn Balor beat Austin Theory this past Monday via roll-up pin. And Austin Theory was pissed. And Pat McAfee celebrated with his second favorite wrestler. I swear to bejeebus. I swear Pat McAfee be having wet dreams about Finn Balor the way he talks about him. Am I tripping? Or he always talks about his 10-pack. Brother fetishes Finn Balor. That's why I think Pat McAfee and Tijon should get into a match, really. Or because, like, or not even in a match. Tijon should be in Austin Theory's corner, and Finn Balor should be in Pat McAfee's corner. That would make for some great television right there. But we're gonna move on to number 3, Becky Lynch. Now, last week, not this past Monday, but the previous week, Becky Lynch assaulted Bianca Belair in retribution of Bianca Belair fracturing her throat, her voice box, or whatever. And, Becky Lynch said that she, it had to be a throat for a throat. That sounds hella inappropriate, but that is what she said. That she said that shit on national television. She said it got to be a throat for a throat, an eye for an eye. So she took her out, and she did She did just that. Tangling her head up in between the chair and dragging her ponytail and caused her to fracture a bone in her throat. But Becky cuts a promo and says that, you know, I ask myself every day, what would I sell my soul for? In 15 long months, I ain't been in the ring and I ain't have a belt to my name, a title to my name. I'd sell my soul over and over and over again for that women's title. That shit was fire. I'm not gonna lie. She's a great promo. As people are gonna kill me for this, but you know what? Just hear me out. Becky is great. Don't get me wrong. I love Becky. She's a great character. She's a great promo. But I'll give you a hot take. She is not interesting in the ring. I want you to name me one great Becky Lynch match. Drop it in the comments. I challenge anybody to drop one great, like spectacular. I mean, at least 4 stars. It has to be at least 4 stars. And don't give me the Lita match. The Lita match was good, but it wasn't great. It wasn't like Bayley Sasha. And you know, people are gonna be like, how are you comparing Lita to Bayley Sasha? Bro, Lita put on a fucking show. Hell, if we comparing Lita to anybody, Trish did her shit when she fought Charlotte, and Trish and Lita are about the same age. So, you know, like I said, drop it in the comments, and you could very well prove me wrong. But this promo was fire, and she is setting the tone really well for when Bianca Belair kicks her ass at Mania, because it's gonna happen. It's gotta happen, especially after that shit that went on at SummerSlam. But moving on to number 2, Seth. They call him freaking Rollins because it's PG, but this is take it to the ring. Seth fucking Rollins. He had the biggest temper tantrum I've ever seen in wrestling history. Earlier on Monday Night Raw that night, Seth Rollins, you know, has been the past couple weeks, he's been trying to find a way onto the WrestleMania card. And, you know, last week he was trying to steal KO's spot against Stone Cold. And Adam Pearce came out and was like, yeah, I'll give you an opportunity. Or no, it was Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville was like, yeah, I'll give you an opportunity to earn a spot on Mania. If you could beat Kevin Owens, it will be you against Stone Cold at Mania. He lost. This week, he went and confronted AJ Styles about his spot at Mania because AJ Styles is facing Edge. And we all know that Edge and Seth Rollins had a pretty fucking dope rivalry last year that Seth lost. And he came out with some good points. You know, it was like he's worried about AJ Styles. So he should let Seth go out there and put Edge in a retirement home. And you know, AJ of course wasn't having it. Not because it was a fucking WrestleMania spot. He doesn't care about that shit. He just wants to end Edge. Edge almost ended him. But, you know, Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville came out. It was like, that sounds like a good idea. The only con for you is that this is your last chance to get on the card. And if you lose, you're fucked. You're not on the card at all. Of course, this was not to AJ Styles' liking. He had no choice but to do it. And he fought him and he beat him. But he didn't beat him the way people would think he had beat him. Edge nailed AJ with a chair shot. And, that was a smart move for Edge. One, because it ensures that you keep your match with AJ. Two, you get to inflict pain on AJ Styles. It's very smart. Very, very smart. But what followed that was a very befuddled, upset, devastated, and lost Seth Rollins, who climbed onto the table and said, "This is complete bullshit." He said this shit is some bullshit. Cause how he get screwed out of his WrestleMania moment. And so, like I said, he had one of the biggest tantrums I've ever seen. Ripping barricades, flipping announce tables, flipping the steel steps, even going as far as ripping the LED light off of the ring post and even smacking the table with the LED light. So he's mad as fuck. But what makes this moment is the very, very audible cheers of Cody. We are all ready for Cody. We want Cody. And this honestly is a great build. We talked about this on the All Real Crew, which you should tune into every Saturday. We talked about this because this is a great little slow burn. Seth doesn't seem to have any direction to Mania. Who knows how they'll present Cody? Who knows what'll happen on the next edition of Raw? But you save off, you hold off, you let Seth just continue to wreak havoc and whine and bitch and moan and try to find his way, do any dirty deed he can do to get onto to WrestleMania's card. Little does he know that the rumors that he said were just rumors are actually going to come to fruition. And that patience is a very, very, very huge virtue to have. His dreams of becoming, of going onto WrestleMania are soon going to become a nightmare. Anyways, we go to the best moment of the WWE week, which was the very first moment that we saw this week. The return of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Although he was advertised for Mania, he decided to show up early on Monday Night Raw, and the crowd was going nuts until we found out that it was Kevin Owens. It was Stone Cold Kevin Owens. Oh, this shit was gold. This shit was comedic gold. I can't lie to you. Anytime wrestlers do impersonations of other wrestlers, it's almost always gold. And this one was no different. This was gold. He came out and did literally every mannerism that Stone Cold was known for, every catchphrase, every sing-along, whatever they call it, he did that shit. And this is the universal face for when Kevin Owens came out. It was either laughter or that. And that shit had me busting out laughing, dog. Because it's so funny. His little tiny legs. Hold on, let me go back. His little tiny legs and the big ass knee braces. And the funny part is the knee brace started to come off by the time the damn promo was over. Like the whole segment was over and the knee brace is starting to come off his leg. And that shit looked funny as hell. Ah, man, this is gold. But he came out, was talking his talk. And at the end of the promo, that's the bottom line because Kevin Owens said so. He went and got some beers tossed to him. and he was trolling because he wasn't actually catching the beers. He was fumbling them. You know how Stone Cold has to catch them with one hand, and if he doesn't catch it, he's not picking the beer up off the ground. He's just gonna have whoever's throwing him the beers throw him more beers so he can catch the beers. If you've never noticed that, well, everybody's probably noticed that, but Kevin Owens just let him drop. And so he had the guy who was throwing the beers come into the ring and hand him the beer. And on the way out, he drops the man with a stunner. That shit was gold. Honestly, this might be like one of the best segments of the entire WrestleMania season this year. It might be like top 2, and it may not be 2. But that's all I got. As Tijon would say, tune in next week. Tune in every week, because I will be back every week dropping these top 10 moments of the wrestling week. If there are other, if there are other moments that I missed that, you would have liked to see or shout out, just drop it in the comments, bro. That's the beautiful thing about this show, man. It's all subjective. If you think that one of these moments should have been higher on the list, let me know. But like I said, that wraps up another edition of this week's Top 10, the Countout. This is your boy Noah. Follow us on Take It to the Ring. Subscribe. Find us on Instagram, TT, Take It to the Ring, All Real Crew, all that. But love y'all. Peace out.